A few years ago, I was in the US in New York. I got invited to a lovely, beautiful house just on the edge of the Hudson, the river that flows through New York. From the balcony of that house, bang opposite were where the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center had been. We had a lovely time with Alak and Kushal, a fantastic dinner, amazing view of New York City. And at that point, I couldn't help thinking, did they actually see 9/11 when it happened? And I was sure that if they did, there would have been some terrible memories. I didn't want to bring those up because it was just too beautiful an evening to spoil with something like that. Fast forward a few years, and I get this book written by Kushal. And not he didn't see it, he was in the building when it happened. And this is a book about how that incident turned his life upside down, how he met Gurudev, Shri Shri Ravi Shankar ji, how he got into art of living, and many other cool things. So Kushal is here with me today, and I thought we would just have a little chit chat about his book. I thoroughly enjoyed reading it. I had no idea, Kushal, that you had in it to be such a great writer, really. I mean, from the first page, he catches you by the throat and doesn't let you go. And so, Kushal, tell me about this book. Tell me how and why you wrote it.
It's just a brutally honest account of my inward journey after 9/11, like how you prefaced it. It was one event that shook my life, woke me up from my reverie, and made me think that there had to be more to life than just chasing big Wall Street bonuses or what I was entrenched in back then.
So, tell us a little bit about what you were entrenched in back then.
Well, I used to work in finance. I started my career as a quant with Goldman. I eventually became a trader, joined a hedge fund. So my life was deeply immersed in a very alpha culture, of Wall Street, where success begets more success, and you blindly run after whatever you're chasing without even being aware of what you're going after. And you get so consumed by it that you don't even ask why you're doing what you're doing. So my life was just about that. I was good at what I was doing. I was loving what I was doing. And so that kept me going with even more intensity with passage of time. And when you're going, it's so fast, and suddenly you hit a wall, and you see stars on a bright afternoon, and you say, "What was this? Is that all to life that I'm experiencing right now? There had to be something more." I didn't know what it was, but I knew there had to be something more, and that's what kind of opened the doors to another dimension for my life.
And what was that dimension? I'm sure they would want to know.
No points for guessing that, but it was around that time, and actually it was one of your students, Amit, who invited me to meet Shri Shri Ravi Shankar. Gurudev was coming to New York. Amit and Shubhra, they invited me to just come see him, and I was very reluctant. I was like, I'm not into. Of course, I'm not into spirituality. I'm definitely not into gurus. So I'm sorry, but I'll pass. And long story short, a funny sequence of events. I ended up going to this public talk where Gurudev was talking, and that was the first time I actually meditated in my life in his presence, and it felt like that missing piece of puzzle had fallen into place. I didn't know what it was. My left brain was questioning with all its intensity, saying, what was this? This must have been placebo. You may have fallen asleep. Where's the data? Show me the data. That Wall Street trained brain is always asking for black and white data. Show me the data. And on one side there was an irrefutable experience. On the other side there was this thing about, where's the hidden muffin? Show. Waffling between these two, I kind of kept going towards the real thing.
But Kushal, I think that is the amazing part about you, that even though you had that extreme intellectual debate going on within you, you still kind of trusted the invisible.
Yeah. I don't know whether I trusted it or I was forced to trust it because I had tried everything else. You know, I kind of fast forwarded this, but there was a period of 3 years between 9/11 happened and I met Gurudev. And in that period, I tried everything. I had traveled the world, I had changed jobs, I'd done crazy things just to find that juice, to fill that void that I was experiencing inside. On outside, I was completely opaque. I had put up a front that everything was fine. I had not talked about it to anyone. I was not even talking about it to even Alak. But inside, I knew that something was amiss. And having tried everything, there was that one thing I had not tried. So, and when I experienced some joy in it, I experienced that glimpse of contentment in it, then I thought, yes, I need to dig deeper. I need to go more towards that.
Tell me more about Alak.
Should I say read the book?
I already did, but I'm sure they want to. And tell me what's not in the book.
What's not in the book. Alak and I met on the first day of our undergrad in our college. And I think I fell for her that day. I mean, there was simplicity, there was grace, there was beauty, and somehow I knew it was just one of those things that you're very clear about. You know, it's like, okay, when you see something, I know I'm going to have it. It's like, I know somehow I'm going to end up with it. I didn't know how, I didn't know what. We are two very, very different people. And while we are so different, there are some things that we share are so much so the same. We have same values, same love for what we do, same passion about the common interests, same spirit of wanting to serve, wanting to be with Gurudev. And so there was a lot of commonality. Of course, not all of that was revealed by the time early on, but over a period of time, so yeah, we started as best friends, and that's what we are.
So, what could a reader expect to find here? I know there is a love story in there.
There are two love stories. I think a spiritually inclined reader would be able to relate with my struggles. I have bared my soul in this book. I have been very, very open, very honest. I have not held back anything. And all the struggles, all the doubts, all the questions, everything that I had, along with some of these amazing experiences, my learnings, my experiences with Gurudev that logical mind cannot explain, all of that are in the book. The book starts as a journey. The book starts as a journey of someone who is completely averse to this field of spirituality, who is completely unaware, is so entrenched in the world, and with this wrong notion that spirituality is anti-ambition, spirituality is anti-progress or comforts. I always thought that to be spiritual, you have to be a monk, you have to give up everything and go to Himalayas and meditate. And if anything, this journey talks about how it is exactly not that. How you can be in the world, enjoy everything, just be the best version of yourself, and yet be in touch with that, who you really are. That's where the juice is. You know it.
So, you said doubts. What was your biggest doubt?
My biggest doubt was, I guess, about myself, that was this really for me? As I would see, when I remember, I came to Waldorf Astoria in New York, in Midtown Manhattan, and I see these people who are so happy, they look so happy, and they were hugging each other, and I was like, where have I arrived? I mean, I came from a completely different world, and a very, stiff collar, uptight world where you're expected to behave in a certain way. And here, people were just behaving as if they were home. They were just so at ease with each other. And I'm like, so there was a first doubt, am I in the right place? Who are all these people who are just greeting each other, hugging each other, So there was a first doubt, and then, there are a plethora of doubts on this path. So.
And you said you had some special effects experiences with Gurudev. So tell us one of the most memorable.
There have been so many of such, but maybe I'll begin at the beginning. The very first one where I experienced something that goes beyond logic is the first time I met Gurudev, the very first time. I was in the room. This was in Philadelphia. And I was in the room, and a lady came to see him. She was, she had trouble walking. She had come with a walker or some crutches, and she was really. I could see she was really struggling. And Gurudev was reading something. I can't remember what it was. He was reading a newspaper or something. And he was reading something, and this lady was talking to him, and she was saying how she's been having so much difficulty walking. Her life has changed because of this incident that got her onto the crutches. And she was really praying. I could see that earnestness in her voice. And Gurudev was, without even lifting his eyes up, he said, oh, it's okay, jump. And I'm like, what? And she was like, what? And he was, you can jump. And I was like, I just stayed quiet. I was in the corner. And that lady just got up, and she literally leapt off of her feet and she jumped. And she started crying. That was the first time she had ever seen anything like that. I had first time ever seen anything, experienced anything like that. And so that was I was like, how did that just happen? Of course, later on I realized that it was just going to be one of the many that I would experience. But that was the first recollection on my first meeting when.
So there is another aspect to you, which I think we should tell everybody, and that's the chocolates. So tell me about the chocolates then.
I think Alak should be here to tell you more about the chocolates. But somewhere along the line, amongst many other gifts, one thing that this practice has given us both is the ability to follow our hearts, to do things without thinking what others will say, what will really make us happy. After working for a long time on Wall Street, we said, all right, enough is enough. Let's just do something that really makes us happy. Stop living like roommates, which we used to. She was also on Wall Street, and we would literally see each other over the weekend. Let's do something together, things that we are really passionate about. And two things that kept coming up, meditation and chocolates, cacao. And so this.
Maybe you should have called the book Meditation and Chocolates.
Perhaps that would have attracted more eyes, yeah. And Ayurveda inspired chocolates were born. We wanted to create something that's holistic, that's healthy. We call them farm to bar. We work directly with the farmers in Ecuador. No middlemen. A very, very integrous supply chain with a lot of heart. And in the process, it provides for some underprivileged children in India for some education. They're being the first in their generation to be educated. So the first time we're doing something that has some impact in some small way.
Oh, your chocolates had big impact on me, man. The first time I tasted that chocolate, it was like, what a weird flavor. It was some turmeric and what else was it?
It was a sea salt and turmeric.
Oh yes, sea salt and turmeric. So sea salt and turmeric. And I'm a little bit of a chocolate snob, so all right now, good friends. So,
you were polite.
Yeah, I was polite. I said, my God, what is this? I want more. And I then, later on, I saw the chocolates in Whole Foods. I said, hey, Alak and Kushal chocolates are in Whole Foods. I was so happy. I really, at that time, I thought, you're just supplying to friends and family. But when I saw them in Whole Foods, I was really thrilled. And I loved what Alak had said to me once. She said, I wanted to make chocolates I could give to a baby.
Yes.
So no artificial ingredients and not even sugar, right? And all of you know that I do a bit of cooking here and there. They make their chocolates with honey. And honey is a viscous liquid. So when you mix chocolate with honey, you might have parts of the chocolate which are very sweet and parts which are not. And somehow they have done some magic, which I'm sure he's going to charge a few $1 million to reveal. to harmoniously and completely blend that honey with the chocolate, and the honey that you use is organic and ethically sourced honey,
Yeah,
isn't
it's a
it?
locally sourced
It's
honey. Yeah.
locally sourced honey. So you've got every single tick on those chocolates, and I'm one of your braving fans
Thank you.
with your chocolates and now with your book.
Thank you.
Anything else you would like to tell us, Kushal?
I don't think I had a book in me, Bob, frankly. It was Gurudev who inspired me to write this book. And I think the writing was a process for me also to realize that all this time I was operating from this space that life is really too short to be playing it safe, to be not following what really makes your heart sing. And I've been very, very fortunate that to be able to experience it, to be able to share it with others, and to be able to write about it. So I hope your listeners would enjoy the book.
Ah, of course they will. So all of you, it's on pre-order right now, isn't it?
It's on
It's
pre-order.
on pre-order. You can get it off Amazon. It's a fabulous read, really, and I think it will, in small ways, change the way you think about spirituality, change the way you think about life itself, and definitely get the chocolate. I think you should give a free bar of chocolate for each book that he sells. We are also thinking. I mean, Kushal has been thinking very strongly about starting his chocolate line in India, and so hopefully very soon you will have Elements chocolates in India as well, and that's something I'm really looking forward to. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Bao.
Kushal, for being
Okay.
here and for just talking about your book and your heart and your life.
Thank you so much. Honor.
Thank you.